everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. My name is Samantha Genzer, and I'm going to be your host for you guys today. We have a very exciting episode for you guys. We're going to be covering if there should be a last-chance qualifier for the CrossFit Games, the results, and a recap of the New York City Grand Prix, the top swimmers going into the Olympic trials, the standout players from the Women's College World Series, and make sure you stay till the end to hear about a little special segment we have on the top fashion statements from the WNBA players. Before we begin, I wanted to ask you guys to like and follow the show, and to become a part of our show, you can tip and donate using the link gsmcpodcast.net. We also get a lot of questions and comments that come from viewers during this show, so to ensure that your comments and questions get read on the air, I ask that you use this link. It puts your questions at the top of the list so that I see them. Also, really does help the show. We really do appreciate it. Helps me as a person, helps the show, and we appreciate all your guys' support. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. Now, let's get started. I hope you guys enjoy today's content. Okay, so we're going to be starting today's show about talking about the CrossFit Games, and I was going to lay out my predictions for the games in today's show, but to be honest, I could not confidently make predictions. I was struggling with deciding between so many people that I need more time to work on my predictions before I come on here and talk about them. The only one I have is like the top first person, and I think you can all guess. I'm not going to say it right now because I don't want to spoil that, but just stay tuned to hear about my predictions later when I confidently have them. Okay, so instead, I wanted to talk about something else in the world of CrossFit that's been quite a bit of a debate, and that's if there should be a last-chance qualifier. A last-chance qualifier is someone who narrowly missed a qualifying spot in the semifinals in their region, so they still get one more chance to make it to the games. It's an online competition, and it's reserved for individual athletes within 3 spots of a games qualifying position at their semifinal event. So based on the region, the athletes eligible to compete at the Last Chance Qualifier are, in North America, it's the 6th to 8th place. In Europe, it's also 6th to 8th place. In Oceania, it's 4th to 6th place. In Asia, it's 3rd to 5th place. In South America, it's also 3rd to 5th place. And in Africa, it's 2nd to 4th place. From June 29th to July 1st, at least that is what is the possible dates. It has not been made clear if there is going to actually be a last chance qualifier, but if there was, that would be probably the dates it'd be held on, because that's how it was in the past. It will be 30 men and 30 women will compete in a series of workouts throughout the weekend, much like the online quarterfinals format. All semifinals rankings will reset, and athletes will start with the same rank. At the close of competition, the top 2 men and top 2 women will receive a ticket to the CrossFit Games in August. And it's sort of in some way sort of like precursor to how a CrossFit Games would be. I mean, obviously that's not online, and it's obviously a little bit different than CrossFit Games. But in some way, it's like a precursor with how you see everyone from so many regions competing. It's not just region by region competing. But there's a whole debate about if the CrossFit Games should bring back this last chance qualifier competition. And actually a lot of CrossFit critics, I just totally choked on my own spit. I'm so sorry. And actually, what I was saying was a lot of CrossFit fans, critics, enthusiasts don't like the whole last chance qualifier thing, because they feel like if you didn't make it the first time, you shouldn't get another chance to make it to the games. I actually love it. I love the idea because it's more CrossFit for us to watch, and also think about the competitors who placed 1 spot away from the qualifying position. Like, that sucks. And I feel like they should get another chance. They should be at the games, even though they didn't technically make it. There will already be 40 people competing in the games, the women's individual, but to see more competition will be great, in my opinion. Also, this whole last chance qualifier thing helps people stay interested in the competition, because there are things happening between the semifinals and the games. There aren't any other competitions taking place right now for CrossFit, because these competitors are training, resting, and preparing for the games that are in August. So we have that month break where there just really isn't any competition happening. In order to keep people interested, the last chance qualifiers is a great way to do that. It also kind of brings out more of the underdogs, even though these technically aren't really underdogs, because they were, I guess in some ways, supposed to qualify for the games if they're at the last chance qualifiers. But in a way, they are the underdogs because they couldn't make it to the games in the first place. Also, with the Last Chance Qualifier, it actually helps get the best people and best competition at the games. And that sounds weird considering it's like, well, you didn't make it the first time, you made it the second time, how are you the best competition? There's a lot of factors that go into CrossFit. You have to consider all those factors. And actually in 2021, Kristi Eramo O'Connell qualified through the Last-Chance Qualifier that year, and then she ended up finishing in 8th at the CrossFit Games overall. Sometimes the best athletes end up in the Last-Chance Qualifier because they had a bad weekend, not enough sleep, or other external or internal factors challenging them. Also, with the CrossFit competitions, and we see this a lot in the opens and in the quarterfinals, it is so dang easy to get a penalty or be disqualified in an event. You need a perfect form combined with speed and strength, but at the same time, you have to worry if you're risking getting disqualified in any way. For instance, for something that seems as simple as box step overs, you may not have your toes perfectly in position and you make it so it looks like you didn't actually step on the box or something. I don't know. I can't think of like a great example, but the box step overs are one of those workouts that make me so frustrated because it is so easy to get disqualified in them. Oh my gosh, what are they called? Step ups, where you just step up and then you step down, because you could technically not have your full weight over you, where you technically aren't all on the box. You know what I'm saying? It's super hard to explain like words wise, but basically it's very easy to get disqualified or a penalty in that type of workout. My point, though, overall, is that being disqualified or having a penalty in an event can really drop your score. And we have seen that numerous times in the semis and opens, and it happens to all the athletes, including the best of the athletes. Moreover, with this Last-Chance Qualifier, it brings more diversity to the games, or at least brings more of an opportunity to have more diversity at the games. For the Africa region, and only one person qualifies to the games. And by having this Last-Chance Qualifier competition, we can see possibly more people from Africa into the games. We always get one person from the region because of how the population system works and how that all is. And it'd be great to see more people from that region at the games. Like, there's a reason that it's done like this, because like, population, I can't even like explain it. It's like so hard to explain why it's done this way, but like if you take like how many people in the North America East region are competing in the quarterfinals and the opens, and then you compare with the Africa region, you're like, whoa, the North America East got a lot more people. No wonder why more people from North America East qualified to the games. Like, that's just how it works, like ratio wise, population size, all of that. It makes sense that there's only one person qualifying to the games in Africa. But, I mean, it would be awesome to see another person have an opportunity from Africa to go to the games, and not just one person, you know? So, I guess overall my point here is that I would love to see more than one person from Africa compete at the games this year, and the Last-Chance Qualifier could make that opportunity possible. Or even we get more opportunities to see people from the Africa region compete in a Last-Chance Qualifier. I will say, though, that I'm not a fan that this competition is held online. I just hate that because the in-person competitions brings a whole different atmosphere, and you can really actually truly judge people in person rather than from a video. There's so many factors that go into it, like the angles, like there's so many like technical issues are always something to worry about. So, I mean, I would prefer it to be a in-person competition, and in-person competitions are just hands down better, in my opinion. But this competition is online, and that's just the way it has to be done, unfortunately. Now, I wanted to bring y'all's attention to some people that I was shocked that did not qualify to the games, and my hopes for them in the Last-Chance Qualifier. And this is sort of where my motivation and likeness for the Last-Chance Qualifier comes from, is the fact that these people did not qualify for the games. Because, like, I'm like, they should be going to the games, but they're not. So, like, that's kind of where that drive comes from here. So, in the North America East region, Amanda Barnhart, Anika Greer, and Jordan Sheck Shrek, I literally cannot figure out how to say her last name, and I apologize so much. They did not place in the top 11, which means they did not qualify for the games. Greer placed 12th, Sheck placed 13th, and Barnhart placed 14th. All three of them, I was shocked did not automatically qualify to the games, and I would love to see them have a second opportunity in the last chance qualifiers. Amanda Barnhart especially is shocking me because she's been at the games every year since 2018. 3 bad event placements put her 13 points away from qualifying to the games this time around, and that really, really stinks. For the North America West Division, I was shocked to see that Olivia Kristetter will not be at the games. She finished 9th and the cut line is 8, so that is so hurtfully close. Kristetter has been to the games once as an individual athlete. She made her debut last year, which was the first time she ventured outside the team competition. So it's shocking she didn't get through, but it's mainly because of the tough cut line. I'm hoping that she gets to, redeem herself if there happens to be a last chance qualifier, but if not, I'm hoping she continues to compete next year because she's only 18 years old and has that young energy and skills that could help her get to the games the following year. In the Europe division, I was shocked to not see Thurider Helgadot here. She's considered one of the best CrossFit athletes in Europe, and she finished in 16th at the semis. She did great in the opens and quarterfinals, and I don't know what happened in the semis that caused her to place in 16th place. I definitely thought she would have been at least in the top 8. She has been to the game 7 times as an individual athlete and once in a team. And when I say I don't know what happened to put her at 16th place, I mean that I don't know if there was something mentally, an external factor, something. Like, it just doesn't make sense because she did so well in opens and in the quarterfinals, and I would have expected her to be in this really good in the semis. Honestly, for the Africa and Asia division, there isn't anyone that I was truly shocked didn't make it to the games because the competition in that region is so tough and there just isn't one person that's super ahead of everybody else. But I would have liked to see Christina Lividatakis and Gemari Renecki from the Africa division at the games. For the South America division, I was really upset that Emily Andrade and Amanda Fusuma didn't qualify for the games. I talked about this in my other video the other day. I'm so upset about it. Andrade placed 4th and Fusuma placed 6th. What makes it worse is that they both placed first in an event, so they were showing that they had the skills, talent, and strength to be at the games, but they were just a few points behind in some categories, causing them to not finish in the top 3. If the last chance qualifiers happen this year, I definitely think those two are going to be fierce competition and hopefully get another chance to go to the games. Lastly, for the Oceania region, there aren't too many people that I was super shocked to not see qualify. The one person that I was a bit shocked to not see qualify for the games was Emily Clements because I just had a lot of confidence that she would have. She had a great reputation and stats going in, and I don't know. She was very close to finishing the top 8, but she ended up finishing in 15th place. I don't know. I really thought I don't even know how to explain it, but there's just like that feeling that I had that she was going to be in like the top 10 or something, but she ended up in 15th place. Even if the last chance qualifiers do happen, Clements wouldn't be competing in that because of her placement, unfortunately, but still, I did want to say and bring attention that I was shocked to see that she wasn't even in the top 10. So, I mean, that goes to show you that CrossFit Games, there are so many little factors that go to influence the games and how you do in each event. Also, the workouts, when they release, maybe you're like, oh, shoot, like, those aren't my strongest workouts, I don't know. There's so many factors that go into it. So last chance qualifiers would be a great opportunity to see some of these people who should be at the games get another chance to maybe qualify for the games. So we're now going to move on to our next segment where we're going to recap the New York City Grand Prix. Before we begin, we are, of course, going to be taking a very short break. So I will see you guys very soon.